Hello again, this is Angelus DiMarzio, and I'm going to talk a little bit here about tanking. Now, tanking, unfortunately, is not the most popular class to run whenever you're playing single-player or multiplayer in an RPG. However, tanking is by far the most important class to run with, mainly because tanking is where all the attention gets drawn to, leaving classes like DPS characters the ability to do the damage and get the kills without having to worry about getting damage themselves. As a result, tanks typically have a lot higher health, and they also typically have a lot higher armor and defenses and that sort of thing. As you see on there, like this guy is set up, with a nice big huge shield, some nice tough armor, and so on. He's built to withstand a lot of damage. Now, his primary goal in what he does is he tries to draw the attention of a lot of the melee attackers. If he can, he wants to draw the attention of all of them. But he also kind of looks at priority on who is most important to grab the attention of. If, we see this Venatori Spellbinder, mage here, this mage is going to be their DPS here. They have, essentially three general characters here. This guy's going to do the most damage, though. He's also going to have, debilitating effects and that sort of thing. So that's essentially, when you look at target priority, you have to know the enemy you're fighting. You know that the Venatori Brute here, he's going to have some hard-hitting attacks, but he attacks rather slow and misses a lot, especially when he does his AoE, smack the ground several times. This guy can hit hard, but mostly he's very predictable. He only has one real attack, and that's, hey, I'm gonna slash you with my sword. That's all he does. And this guy has a plethora of skills where he casts, chain lightning, he casts, ice mine, and, various different abilities that can have some nasty effects on you if you're unprepared. That is why he should always be the first target for the DPS. Well, with the tank wants to give the DPS a chance, hey, go after this guy. So what he's going to do is he's going to try to get everybody focused on him. Hey, look at me, I'm the big target here, go after me. That way, he can actually draw the attention here, and the DPS can do his job. Essentially, in this particular case, whenever you're doing Dragon Age Inquisition, the champion, or if you're playing multiplayer, the Templar class tends to be the most effective at doing what's known as control tanking, which is essentially you're not drawing the enemy's attention so much as you're forcing the enemy to go a certain way. And the champion, or the Templar multiplayer, does this by means of a skill called Line in the Sand, which I've actually detailed more specifically in a video on the Templar. It essentially summons up two spirits on either side of you and leaves you to be able to move freely and leave a little gap there for them to run through. Kind of makes a choke point, if you will. That goes really well with a lot of your AoE damager type classes and so on. But in this particular case, we're going to go with the kind of more style of fighting that the Legionnaire class does in multiplayer, which is essentially the kind of taunt the enemies, get them to focus and attack you, and then have some kind of ability or another to give you a spell invulnerability and that sort of thing. Now, this guy is going to be my first one to focus on with my attack. And you notice he's the farthest away. Well, a lot of tanks, will have some means or another of trying to close the gap. Get close, get in his face really quick. In this particular case, we have Lunge and Slash, which essentially what that does, he gets in close, real quick. Now that he's in close, we want to taunt all of these guys. So the next up on his repertoire is my X button here, which is War Cry. Warcry will taunt all of these guys, make them all focus on him. So we'll do that. They are now all taunted. They're all looking at me. Now if you notice already, the Spellbinder here is already starting to lose health because my DPS character here is focusing straight up on him, which is exactly what we want to do. Now I'm going to tell the my DPS character to do what's known as a disable effect. He's going to knock that Spellbinder down, interrupt him from doing any spells that he might be doing, which it looks like he actually is right now. He's in the process of casting a spell. So what I'm going to do is have my tank or my DPS knock him down. If you're playing as a DPS and you notice there's like a mage or some kind of spell caster is about to cast some kind of effect that is going to hurt your tank. For example, if you see these little runes on the ground, he's about to cast Fire Rune, which is about to knock my tank around, make his job a lot tougher at trying to draw the attention of everything. You want to interrupt him. There's several spells that can interrupt that ability, but essentially it's anything that knocks down, stuns, in some way physically moves the target. Now that we've got that handled, we've taunted the enemies with Warcry. What's next on our agenda? We want to then find a way to make our guy tougher. Because, well, if you notice on here, while I had full guard built up, which essentially gave me some, some ability to remove some damage from me, it's only going to last so long. These guys will be taunted for a while, but they're still going to start doing more damage to me here really quick. Thus enters in my third ability, Walking Fortress. Walking Fortress is also on the Legionnaire multiplayer. It essentially grants me about a 6-second or so invulnerability from damage, and with the upgrade to it allows me to gain that guard back as these enemies hit me. So then, as Walking Fortress, and you notice, not taking damage, I just took a nice shot to the face on there, and it only built up my guard. Now, of course, my DPS here is apparently lost its damn mind and is running off here. I'm going to again run for a disable on him by using another disable effect called Mighty Blow. That's going to knock that Spellbinder to the ground and further disable him from doing anything. And then from here, now I can really focus on just keeping the attention of this brute and this zealot here, and let the my DPS here handle this guy from here on out. And this is pretty straightforward. We just keep blocking. And as you notice on here, I've got full guard built up. And you notice he has now knocked that guy to the ground. He's disabled him. Now that Spellbinder is down for a couple of seconds. Now that DPS, he could probably just basic attack from here and finish that guy off. I'm not too concerned about it. Now for some reason or another, this zealot is being silly and not doing anything. That's a failing of the AI. Does not happen frequently. Most cases what's going to happen instead is he would be normally stabbing me in the back. But essentially from here, now I just keep backing up. Now he's about to do his AoE on there. Now, if you notice on here, I didn't stand there and take that to the face, because of the fact that my blocking ability consumes stamina based upon the damage it's doing. Well, if this brute here is about to do a ton of damage on there, it's not necessarily a good idea for me to stand in the face of his rampage. Instead, what I'll do is I'll move out of the way of it, let him do that, whatever. He's going to stand in one place, he aims recklessly, doesn't hit anything. So from there, I'm not worried about it. He's going to do his deal. I can actually hit the zealot a couple of times since his taunt is about to wear off. So instead, turn my attack to him and then disable him with a shield bash. That also synergized with exactly what this guy was doing here. If you notice, he was doing the whirlwind attack I just knocked this zealot right into the path of his whirlwind, so now he's going to do a little bit of extra damage there. Now, by the time I get back over this guy, I will be able to do a lunge and slash again to bring myself back into melee range shortly hereafter. Just like that. Now, this is a mistake of a lot of DPS classes on there. If you notice, what's the AI doing? Standing right in front of the enemy, with the tank there. A DPS should always want to try to position themselves on the flank of the enemy in order to maximize the amount of damage they do and to not interfere with what the actual tank is doing. Now, one thing to note on here is essentially what's going to happen here. I'm going to taunt the brute again since his taunt has worn off, and then just more or less block and allow my DPS to tear him apart. So to sum it up there, essentially the primary goal of a tank is not to be dealing tons of damage. You are not designed to kill things as a tank, which a lot of people don't like because why? They want the kill. They want that gratification. They want to feel special. But the truth is, when you talk to people that are seasoned RPG veterans, who do they want in their party more than anything? A tank. You are everybody's best friend. Everybody loves you. And I just kind of wanted to clear up some of the confusion on exactly what a tank does. You do want to do some damage to the enemies. You do want to hit them a few times to get them paying attention to you, but you are not the killer. You're not the damager. You want to instead be drawing the enemy's attention, get them to focus on you, so your DPS character can get in behind them and do the damage and get the kill. Yes, you're... As always, if you enjoyed the video or have comments, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Once again, this is Angelus Demortiel signing off.